across these United States, all 50, including Puerto Rico, across the whole damn globe. This is Esports Extra, folks, live here, the only live call-in sports show, talking traditional sports and esports. We'll take your phone calls live, 877-853-5247. Hit the meeting ID, Esports Extra. That is 377-678-9872. Hit the pound button twice to join the show. Larry Ridley, SNY TV, a little NBC Sports, a little Matt NFL, a little NBA 2K League. We are back here on a Wednesday. It is raining cats and dogs here in Jersey, guys. Like, I keep looking out the window like, is the earth just going to, like, fall off its axis into the universe? It's crazy outside right now. How you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good.
Good. We're good.
Good. We got Darwin Worrell, D-Dubs, down there off of Okeechobee and Ponce de Leon.
Ponce de Leon, Fountain of Youth. Yeah, it's been raining heavy out here too. I've never seen, I guess it's raining season right now, but I feel like I'm in Seattle a little bit, but sun comes out every now and then.
You know what it is? It's because it's so damn hot everywhere that, that automatically means rain. It's hot everywhere, man. It was 100 plus in Nashville when I was there the last few days. So let's bring in A-Dubs. He's down in Dalworth, the Metroplex, DFW. I said Siobhan's in the house. Where the boss lady at?
The boss is listening. He's listening. She's on.
Hey, we call the boss, but she sent you, dog.
She sent me. Yeah, she let me out.
Siobhan Williams, she's the boss that pays the cost.
No LA workout, okay?
Hey, there was lots of lecturing about LA work after the show.
Yes. We got OG Ivan Curtis back here in the tri-state. Where Brooklyn at?
Hey man, I'm glad to finally get back. I had to deplane 3 times yesterday in Charlotte. It was storming, and then ironically today, after we was leaving out from practice, it started storming. It was hot earlier. I mean, it was unbearable outside. So I guess I said we needed this storm to kind of cool it down a little bit.
Yeah, good stuff, man. You guys ready here for Esports Extra, man? You guys
Let's
ready?
get it.
Let's get it done.
Show on Twitch, Facebook, Mixer, YouTube, all that good stuff. We'll take your phone calls live, 877-853-5247. Meeting ID Esports Extra. That's 377-678-9872. Hit the pound button twice to join the show. We're going to be talking about NBA, Black Lives Matter court, NBA COVID cases and numbers. We'll get into that. The Bubble Barbershop. We'll talk about that. Jimmy Butler. Hey, maybe he was onto something because he's got some other brothers that want to follow in his footsteps. We'll talk about that. We'll get a good friend of ours, Harold Kuntz. He'll join us live from Fox 4, the local Fox affiliate in Kansas City. We'll talk about the Chiefs coming up, Mahomes, Chris Jones, that chant. There is some talk out there about what to do with that chant. NFL preseason, we've seen it go from 4 to 2 to 1 to maybe 0. We'll get into that. MetLife Stadium. Got some news with that with the governor here in New Jersey, where I'm residing right here. Governor Murphy, he's talking about the stadium and also Rutgers as well. We'll get into that. Michael Bennett retiring. Julie Donaldson, we just had on the show last week. Big news to her. Props to her becoming the only female in the National Football League to be a high-level executive in that position in the communications and the radio booth. With the NFL, the 32 NFL teams. We'll get into the Edmonton Canadian Football League. We'll talk about the old Eskimos because they are no longer. Major League Baseball seeing some kneeling last couple of days. We'll get into that. A guy that I covered with the Red Sox, who's the manager of the San Francisco Giants, Gabe Kapler. Then a new esports video gaming sort of network that just propped up that will be debuting here in a couple of weeks. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, Compete Forever on Black News Channel this weekend, episode 8 coming down the pipe this weekend. I believe the Summer Series Grand Final was a really good one. 6 top players, a couple $1,000 on the line. Foxwoods are one of our favorite homes. Foxwoods Resort Casino. We'll get into that and airing this weekend 4 times on Black News Channel nationally. All right, let's start, guys, at the top. We'll start in the association, National Basketball Association. We saw it, the unveiling of the court. NBA said they were going to do it, and damn it, they did. They unveiled Black Lives Matter on the court. We saw social distancing with the chairs and the benches as well, where the players will sit. Some, I believe, 3 or 4 rows. I think it was 3 rows 6 feet apart, so there was some social distance there. We saw plexiglass as well for the broadcasters. Well, they will be broadcasting. We saw signage, lots of video boards across the courts there. Guys, it looked like freaking NBA 2K. We'll start with you, Ivan Curtis. You got a little knowledge about the NBA 2K. Your thoughts on the NBA and the courts there and how they were set up, especially with the Black Lives Matter painted on the court there.
I think the presentation is great. The setup, just the gym. I mean, it's funny because I was seeing people like as they were watching scrimmages earlier, saying that it's not too bad without having fans. But me, I always watch most of the basketball games on mute. So I don't hardly miss any.
All right, Shannon Sharp.
I don't miss too much of the fan participation, but I think it's set up well. Looks really nice. And I really, I just can't wait to get rocking and rolling. When the games start counting. So, but I like the signage and the way it's set up. Beautifully done by the NBA.
Yeah, I was following my former colleague at SNY, Taylor Rooks, still a good friend of mine, seeing some of her tweets, Malika Andrews, some of the people down there in the bubble, my boy Mark Spears, all these people that we've had on the show are down in the bubble. We're going to get Taylor on here, hopefully coming up soon if we can pry her away from her phone. She's always doing something positive, by the way. Great friend of mine. But yeah, it looks very good down there. The setup is nice. It's clean. They've done a good job with COVID. We'll get into that here in a second. Your thoughts, though, Willie, minus the hood, sans the hoodie today. Your thoughts on the setup down there at Disney World at the Wide World of Sports Complex?
No, I think it was good. It's good messaging by the league to make sure that you remain consistent with standing with the players during this time. The partnership between the league and players, again, is something that it can be good, and sometimes it can be a little contentious. And so even with the fact that when we talk about the NFL versus the NBA after Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, right,
Jackson.
after the great, right, I don't call him that. I love him as a player, as a point guard, though. But the NBA actually implemented measures that made players stand, right? And so players for the national anthem had to stand, even though there's this perception that the players in the league have this great partnership. Yeah. So with that being said, for the league to follow through and have this messaging, I think is good. And also to borrow our queen's saying, right? Moments equals momentum, right?
Yes.
So with that being said, even though those aren't things specifically that we're asking for, we'll take those wins, but we got to keep mashing.
Hey, left-hand column, brother. We're putting a check mark right there. 1-0, Duran Worrell. Moments equal momentum, and momentum equals a movement. That's how you add on top of that. D-Dubs, your thoughts, man, on what they've done down in Orlando. Props to the NBA. Maybe because I'm so starved for sports. I'm hungry as hell right now as we speak, man. No food on the airplanes. I don't even want to get into that.
Right.
Right. I'm telling you.
But I had a round trip for $34.20.
Whoa.
Can't be
that's a win. That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a steal.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I went. I'm like, they're asking me, they're begging me to go see my kid. Okay, I'll do it.
I love the presentation. And you have the court, like the colors is pretty much black, a little bit of gray, white. It looks really clean and nice. Black Lives Matter is on one side of the court, just above the NBA logo, which sits in the middle of the court. It's really nice. And then with the way they have the players going to be sitting, the first row of active players, they don't have to wear masks, but the other two rows will have to have masks, and they also they're going to have their own water. Each player will have their own water bottle, own kind of water system. So they've taken a lot of precautions. You talked about the plexiglass separating the announcers and things of that nature. Just looking at the overall setup, the floor looks clean, it's crisp, it looks really nice. I'm looking forward to watching a couple of games on TV.
Hey, we're getting close, man. We're going to get some scrimmages coming up here. And then, of course, the first game will be on the 30th, man. So we're about less than about a week and a day. So about 8 days away from the NBA starting next Thursday. We'll have a few games, right? I think you got Clippers, you got the not the Hornets, but the Pelicans, a couple of teams like that playing. So, hey, the NBA is almost back. They're doing a good job, and let's keep it in the NBA, guys, as we get this show moving along. The National Basketball Association and COVID-19 cases through July 13th. 346 players were tested, 0 positive tests. That is great news. You go from 0 to 100%, positivity. No, positive cases there. We're so excited about that. I've seen some of the media members down there. I've seen Taylor and others talk about how they're doing a good job of implementing these protocols and guidelines. The bubble is safe and it's secure. Players have come in and out. They've done a good job of quarantining people once they get in the bubble. Then you have to go through another quarantine. It's just a great setup. We hope that this can continue. I don't expect them to have 0 cases going forward all the way through October or November, whenever the NBA Finals is. But if they can keep this number low, especially below 5%, I think they might be able to finish a great start so far. Hey, Willie, your thoughts here since you did some work in the association.
No, I think it's a really good deal. And it's funny, these bubbles are the safest places in the United States right now, because the W also as well has 0 positive tests also as of recently. So
great point.
So I think both of the leagues are doing a great job with their protocol. And it also speaks to the fact that thus far, the players, for the most part, are doing a really good job of following that protocol as well and making sure they stay
everybody
safe.
Except Dwight Howard. But
right. Yeah. That's why I said for the most part.
I was going to say,
I love him.
Give a big shout out to the snitch hotline.
right.
Got him.
That's a dude with braids, got these broad shoulders. He can hold his shoulders. Looks like
you got to make sure you say the color of the braids as well. But no, I think that's good. And especially given the fact that we've talked about this before, some of the side effects that we know, and a lot of information continues to change because there's so much that's unknown. But some of the side effects that we've seen, especially with some of the studies, is we've seen issues with enlarged hearts. So, and I have a teammate that I actually lost, that we lost because he had an enlarged heart and didn't know it. Mm-hmm. So with that being said,
sometimes
I think
they do catch them with the, with the physicals and things of that nature,
right,
the heart murmurs.
Right,
but you're absolutely right. I've played with guys too that have.
Wasn't Jeff Green in Boston had?
Yeah, he had surgery.
Right,
he had surgery.
Yeah. Right. So the cardiac issues as well that you may see in the long run here are very concerning. So I think the league has to continue to do all the things that they're doing from a cardiac event testing standpoint. So because again, those are just some of the side effects that we know of. And then there are some that we don't know. So with that being said, I think it's great, but I want the league to continue to keep mashing, as I said.
D-Dub, 0 out of 346. You can't get much better than 0, man. That's a hard number at the top. Your thoughts and excitement levels so far with what the association has done down there in Disney?
Yeah, they've done a good job so far, but we all know it's not how you start; it is how you finish. Just takes one or two.
Why you gotta throw cold water on us, man?
I mean, and here in New York, we don't throw a parade for baseball in the first couple of months. We wait until August, September. Where the Yankees at? Where we at? That's what we.
Wait a minute.
He ain't no Jonas
New York. You said in New York. There are 2 teams in New York.
Oh, that's
I was using the team that normally has the parades.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's been a long.
He's got a point.
I mean, it's been a long time since we see the Metropolitans in the parade.
Watch it.
I'm just saying.
I'm down.
But I can't get overly excited about the beginning. I got to see this the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, guys stay with protocol. Nobody sneaks out the bubble. No one sneaks anything in or people in the bubble. And see how things go.
You ain't gonna stop that. You ain't gonna stop that. I'm telling you that now. There will be some individuals, some co-eds, if you will, that will slide into the bubble. Now we just hope that the bubble don't burst or pop.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So we got to give it a couple of weeks before we get overly excited. But it's a good start.
OG, so far 0 cases, 0 positive cases. That means 346 out of 346. You're batting 100. How long can you do it, though? We all know at some point you got to start coming down, right? You can't be perfect, right? Unless you Bo Derek.
I think it's going to be those teams that maybe fall off that you got to watch out for. But all jokes aside, the NBA is. the best league in the world to me. The optimum protocol and mandates that they put in place, I know that plays a part. And like I said, I made a joke earlier about the snitch hotline, but that's probably genius.
It is.
Really. So I think a lot of that stopping. Now we know it's going to be some people who ready to risk it all to try to get in the bubble and make headlines and different things like that. But if you can keep those away, because
okay, you can keep those away.
You can keep those type of situations.
If you can take the T off of that, what are you talking about? Keep those away.
Right. I think they're staying. I think everything pretty much maintained. I know the players more than anything are excited and ready to get back out there and play. I mean, I caught some highlights and some snippets earlier from the scrimmages. So definitely, I know players are excited to be back out there. Most of them, regardless of how the season started, how it stopped, and how it potentially may end, they want to win. So I think most of the players are not going to jeopardize, their team or even themselves that get in the way of winning.
Absolutely. You look at those protocols, guys are doing Zoom calls, not a lot of interaction with the media. You saw the players. I saw Jamal Murray and some other players sitting on the scorer's table or on the side, all with mask on. Guys are staying within the bubble, the restricted area. Hell, they should be used to the restricted area, right? They have it on the damn court. Keep the butt within the lines, right? Right?
There's a lot of other things they used to too, though. So
getting that work. That's what they're used to. No workout until October, guys. You got to figure it out.
Those area code amenities.
I got pros. Let's keep it in the NBA, and we'll go with the Bubble Barbershop. When I first saw this, I think it was Friday or Saturday last week, I was like, are you kidding me? But I'm like, it makes sense. This is being in quarantine. They need amenities. Hell, they should put like a little grocery store in there or something. I know they got food. Have a little shop, maybe some ice cream. You got, the putt-putt. You got table tennis. You got video games, NBA 2K League. Don't know if you can solve the LA work problem. That might be the only problem you can't solve. But it reminded me of Fisher Island in Miami. It's a little island over there, not too far from Star Island. I did something with Andre Agassi. They had it's like a little bubble, like a little island right off of near before you get to Miami Beach. You got to take a little ferry over there. They got their own grocery store and everything. You don't have to go off that little bubble if you need anything. So this is very reminiscent of that. We'll start with you, A. Willie. What do you think about the Bubble Barbershop? I saw Tiago Splitter. I believe it came from his account is where we saw that. But it was in. But that thing's too small. You got 346 brothers. You need at least 100 of those damn things, don't you?
Yeah, I think you got 6 barbers in there that will come in at the end of each day and make sure that the players stay tight and stay fresh. Because I can say this as a player,
clean.
No question. Part of being a player, that's part of the culture, right? Being fresh and being tight when you're on the floor. So, you know what Dion says, right? If you look good, you play good.
You play good.
You play good, they pay good.
Feel good, you play good. You feel good,
right? So with that being said, and especially if you look at guys that the vast majority of players, and I can say this from a branding standpoint, that are signature athletes in the NBA, all of them have a certain look. They all have their hair is cut a certain way, etc. So with that being said, as these players are, when you make, say if you're LeBron James, and you make $158 million from the Lakers, and you have $1 billion deal for Nike, who do you work for first, right? So the branding perspective is very, very important for all of these guys, and to make sure that you're tight. Yeah. To make Coach K, I'm not saying that. You got to make sure that you're tight, right? All players make sure you're tight.
Hey, we all lived it. You guys used to make fun of me, but it was important. I had to have my barber here every week. The hell with the quarantine rules and all that. I'm sorry. Our job is to present the news and be on camera. So that's part of our makeup. That's part of your job description. This is ingenious, man. The barbershop thing down there. Like I said, how much are they going to charge these barbers? How much are these barbers going to charge, OG?
That's typically
Boston. I did a story with Paul Pierce and those guys during the 08, 09, and 10 season. Their barber used to come to the Garden and cut their hair. He was making about $100 to $200 a pop. So there's a guide for you.
Well, the league is covering it, and then the barbers can get tips.
Oh,
that's good.
There ain't no telling what kind of deal the league cut, but most of these players are used to having their own personal barber. So you got 6 barbers for all of the players. And then, hey, Willie, you was kind of speaking on old culture because a lot of these young cats don't get haircuts.
Tight,
They don't cut their hair. They let it grow kind of wild like mine and everything.
But OG, you lined up though.
Oh yeah. I mean,
you gotta say lined up.
I'm mature now. I can't walk around like that. But I think it's a great idea. I mean, to give them as many things as they need to kind of make the situation as normal as possible. But I was thinking they six barbers in there from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. They probably typically only
14 hours. That's pretty good.
You may cut a celebrity or two, but now everybody you cut is a pro. So those tips can be.
Hey, get your name out there. You might have a job.
Right. And I think I was reading they had one from New York, LA, Orlando.
2 from LA.
The Bay Area. Yeah. So I mean, it's.
How did you apply for this? How did you get into the boys club? That's what I want to know.
Right. Probably got recommended. I'm sure the Bay or LeBron probably played a part of making sure his barber's in there or whoever.
Rondo's
put the Beijing
Rondo,
on there.
I did see that.
Rondo's brother has a concierge service, and he recommended like 50 barbers in the NBA cut it down to 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 from LA.
Okay. I love LA. We love it. I love LA. Okay, we're done with this LA nonsense. Go ahead, D-Dub.
Hey, I mean, kudos to the NBA for trying to make this as comfortable for the players as possible, trying to bring everything that they need in the bubble so they wouldn't have to leave the bubble. Because imagine if these guys can't get haircuts. Guys will start looking rough after a month or so. Right. And then they whittle it down from 50 to about 6. They also have one young lady that does cornrows, which is cool. And then they have another young lady that does locks.
She's Kawhi's personal.
What it do, baby? Yeah.
They got another one that does locks. So, I mean, they're trying their best to make it as comfortable for the players. And I read that on one of the players, he was really impressed with the facility and how, NBA is really going out for them.
All right. Let's show it again, Coach K. Go ahead, jump in here. Let's make sure we keep that picture up real quick while we go another round through here. Go ahead, Coach K.
I need the snitch hotline for whoever's using Beijing, though.
What's wrong with this dude? What is wrong with him? So if you're an NBA player, okay, and we've all been to barbershops for majority of our lives. I don't know how you guys, what's the tip system and things of that nature. What should these NBA players tip at the Bubble Barbershop? Look, if cut is free, I think they got to tip at least 50.
Mm-hmm.
At least 50.
I agree.
Facts.
Yeah, that's a
minimum.
And they do it.
I'm in New York. I'm in New York, so I mean,
I'm talking about on their salary, not on
salary.
Okay.
Oh no. I know. I'm just saying that's not too far off the normal when you go into the barbershop, depending on where you go.
If you're a max player, 100.
Yeah, I'm with you. 50 to 100.
It's similar to how I had friends when I worked for the Red Sox. They were friends. I had a really good friend that worked in the clubhouse, and he told me his salary, and the salary is really low in relative terms. But what he talked about was the tips that he got for doing favors for the players, dropping off their dry cleaning, getting their cars washed, all of those different things. And he
parking their cars and all that stuff. Yep.
Right. And those tips were significant cash, and they were significant.
Hey, and they know where the bodies are buried. The guy with the Red Sox, Red Sox jersey. His name is Pookie, right? It's a brother.
Pookie, that's one of my guys. That's not my guy I'm talking about, but Pookie's been there for a long time.
Pookie's been there for a minute.
Cool dude.
Man,
really cool guy.
The Red Sox sent us 3 jerseys I'm sorry. I gotta stop this. The Red Sox sent me like 3 jerseys, dude, when they made the change in like I don't know, 06, 07, 08, somewhere around there to get the new jerseys, and they didn't have anything on the back. I'm like, Pookie, hook me up. Man, they look just like the
Yeah.
daggone jerseys. Put the numbers and everything on it for free. I tipped them. I gave them like $20, $30. Man, I'm like, that's all I got. But I gave them.
Right. You asked the right man, Larry.
Right.
And I'll say this for me, like since quarantine, I started cutting my hair again because I used to do it in college and I stopped. But now quarantine life, I'm back in the barbershop again. Larry, you think you can flex and get me down there so I can make some of those tips, man?
What here? What down here? What you mean up here to Jersey?
In the bubble. I'm
On
trying
the
to go
bubble?
to the bubble.
Oh,
You can flex.
Can you cut?
know? Yes.
You can. You got skills.
Yes.
Where are your clippers at?
Downstairs in my bathroom.
Okay, well then you can start by cutting the crew on esportsXTRA,
Hey,
and then you can work your way on.
You got the
I need
bevel?
you to pull a
You start
move.
with OG.
you got the bevel.
I need a power move. Larry, flex. Get me down in the bubble.
I can't flex, man. I ain't gonna lie, dude. I'm so removed, man. I'm just I'm not in the know anymore. What's up, Coach K?
I got one more question. Are they gonna make the rookies wait around for their haircuts for 2 or more hours, like kids in high school?
Yeah, I
man.
don't see LeBron James.
Hey,
sitting
young blood,
there for an hour.
you gotta
yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have an appointment.
Flex on them.
And that's another thing. You
Sorry.
probably need to book some appointments. Oh, okay. I was gonna go. We'll come back to Jimmy Butler. Let's go to the phone lines here live here, esportsXTRA, the only live call-in sports show on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Also Mixer, I guess for today's the last day of Mixer. 877-853-5247, meeting ID, esportsXTRA, 377-678-9872. I hit the pound button twice to join the show. Let's go ahead and go to the phone lines now. I am bringing a good friend of mine. He is from Nashville, Tennessee, but he's worked in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now working in Kansas City for Fox 4, sports anchor and reporter there. A good friend of mine, Harold Kuntz. What's up, brother? On a Wednesday, what you doing, man?
Man, I'm chilling. Yourself? How you been, man?
Hey, man, chilling, man. Just touched down, man, from Nashville. Both of our, stomping grounds there, man. Back here in Jersey, man. How's everything in Kansas City, man? Is the news? What's going on out there? What's the latest?
Well, it's great. The weather's good because it's the summer. We're in that 4 months where we actually get the sun. We get to look at it. And everybody's happy. Everybody's excited. Hopefully this training camp gets underway for the Chiefs. We got the Royals starting in a couple days, but it might be a struggle. And other than that, everything's going well. About to enjoy some barbecue later tonight too. Doing the full Kansas City thing. It's great.
There you go, rubbing it in with. All right, let me ask you this: you've been around, you're sportscast. You've been in a few markets now. You're from Tennessee. We know about Memphis. We know about Carolina and their barbecue. Kansas City. Rank them in that order: Memphis, Kansas City, and Carolinas. From best to
That's
worst.
a good one.
Yeah.
Well, all right, I always say it this way. You got to go by what specifically you get. Like if you get brisket, I would say Carolinas, or even I'll include Texas in that.
Okay.
Ribs, Memphis, but everything else, I got to go Kansas City.
Ooh,
I mean,
okay.
This is the city of burn-ins. Burn-ins
Yep.
in Kansas City is a specialty. They do good smoked sausage here. They do good chicken, everything else. I go Kansas City, and plus the sauces. The sauces are always immaculate, as I like to say. But they have so many different places too. Like if you want, vinegar style, you can go to one place. You can go get sweet sauce style at another place. Like there's so many different places. I mean, the variety here is better than
Hey, Bubba Gump, you're going too long, man. All right, Bubba Gump. Shrimp and boat business. You got barbecue business. Got BBQ business.
Hey, I can go all day on barbecue, man. I can go all day on barbecue.
I see, man. Hey, I hope you're working out, man. Keep that waistline tight, bro.
with quarantine life, man.
All right, let's bring it back and let's talk about. We were talking about barbecue. Let's go about and bring in and talk about the top dog, Patrick Mahomes. Former NFL MVP, Super Bowl MVP as well. Won his first Super Bowl. Fabulous couple of years as a starter. 3 years in the NFL with the Chiefs. signed that record deal up to $503 million. Of course, probably won't hit nowhere near $503 million. Have to win the Super Bowl and MVP every single year to get close to that. But he's going to get between 450 and 470, maybe. Harold, what's the buzz been like in KC with this record deal and Patrick Mahomes, and how confident are they that they can get back to Florida and go to Tampa for Super Bowl 55?
The confidence level is dynasty. It is run it back, hashtag
Dynastic.
run it back. That's been what every player has been saying the entire time. It's hashtag run it back. This team has every expectation of getting back to the Super Bowl. 20 or 22 starters are back, and we're talking about the starters they missed. There's a left tackle that they got to get back, and they got to figure out what their depth is at running back, but and then also a linebacker position. But other than that, they feel they're set and they're ready to go, and all of that is due to number 15. You're talking about an MVP season in his first year that he fully played, Super Bowl MVP this upcoming season, and they did it with all comebacks. So now they just want to dominate. That's really what they're getting down to now, and they feel like they got the holy triangle of Andy Reid, the general manager, and Brett Veach, and Patrick Mahomes. They're ready to go.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Chiefs looked really good last year. Got behind against the Titans. Andy Reid, I think, made the great call to take the air out of the ball, start running the ball against the Titans, and that in turn slowed down Derrick Henry and our mighty Titans from Nashville. We're talking here live on Esports Extra with Harold Kuntz, Fox 4 sportscaster, sports anchor, and reporter in Kansas City. Let's talk about defense. We saw the defense. Not going to call them Swiss cheese. Not going to say Bart Scott level like can't stop a nosebleed. But they had some struggles at times. But when you got such a high-powered offense, they remind me of New England in some of those years where they get up on you and they can just kind of go and hide, and they can kind of release those dogs and kind of get after you when they're up by 2 or 3 scores all the time. How is this defense going to be this year? And Chris Jones with the new deal as well, coming back with $85 million. And also, Harold, the guy just made a guarantee. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. 5 Super Bowls. Did he just go LeBron James on us?
Yeah, he threw LeBron James. He didn't need to do that. I don't think Stone Cold needed to do that. Now, but I do think 2 or 3 is definitely a real possibility in the time he's there for sure. You look at this defense, Chris Jones, you remember Frank Clark, formerly the Seahawks there. He had some health issues last year. Now he's back into the fold, and he's going into a year very healthy. But the leader of that team really is Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, T5. When he came in, he was actually voted MVP of the team last season. That's how much his attitude level, and everybody says the moment he entered Arrowhead's facility, he really changed the attitude of that defense. And then let's not forget the defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo. He's in year 2. Those guys were just getting adjusted to that defense last year. And now under Spagnuolo, who only has to focus on defense, he's not a head coach. Thank goodness. He's a defensive coordinator now, so he can focus on that defense. And they've got great pieces. Even the cornerbacks. Let's not forget about my guy, Charvarius Ward. This is a guy that went undrafted from Middle Tennessee State University. Middle Tennessee State University.
One more time for the people in the back that can't hear.
Middle Tennessee State University.
Murfreesboro Mafia,
from
baby.
Macomb, Mississippi. And this guy came onto the scene, and he became a full-time starter. And he's really done well. I know some of the analytics say he's up there as one of the tops in the league, and you might not know his name. And he went to Middle Tennessee State University. We can say MTSU because I can talk to you. I can talk to you. I can talk to you like that. But hey, this defense, they got the pieces now. All they got to do is really figure out how this linebacking core is going to go. They got a good rookie there. I'm really excited about out of Mississippi State called Willie Gay Jr. Look out for him. Fast dude, nose for the ball out of the SEC. If he gets into the fold real well, the linebackers with Anthony Hitchens and crew, they're going to have something special on defense in year 2 under Spagnuolo.
Harold, tell my boy Ward I said, what's up? Tell him you got a boy that's up here in Jersey, bleeds blue, played at Middle Tennessee, paved the freaking ground and laid the groundwork for this kid to go to MTSU, to get a big-time NFL contract. You tell him to holler at his boy, him and Kevin Byard.
I will tell him over Zoom because we can't talk to any of these guys during the season in person. I will definitely tell him to hit you up for sure. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good stuff. We're talking to Harold Kuntz here. Fox 4 sportscaster and anchors, TV sports caster, anchor and reporter for Fox 4 in Kansas City. Take your phone calls live here, 877-853-5247, meeting ID. It is Esports Extra. Hit the pound button twice to join the show. All right, Harold, before we let you get out of here, we've seen the Redskins and things of that nature. I had my good friend Julie Donaldson on last week before she took the job inside with the Redskins organization. Talked to Darren Haynes with the Redskins as well. A couple of weeks ago, we've seen what they're going through. The Atlanta Braves going through some things as well. The Chop On sign outside of Trustmark Park. New name now, don't know it, but they're going to remove that. We've seen the Cleveland Indians. What about Kansas City? The Chant, very similar to what you see with the Braves. And also at Florida State, the Seminoles with Dion before he got to the Braves in the late 80s and early 90s. What's the latest with the Chant at Arrowhead Stadium that's become pretty synonymous with that team in KC?
Well, it's going to be interesting this season with all the spaced out fans and limited attendance. They used to do this big thing right before kickoff with, as you said, the chop, and then they bang the drum. Now, there's some things that they've gone through lengths as an organization to try to clean things up. For instance, the drum that they bang on beforehand. It's not like the Carolina Panthers where it's like a keep pounding. It's an actual drum that's certified by an Indian tribe in the area that kind of, makes sure that it's okay with them every year. And then obviously the chief's name is not necessarily like an Indian chief. It's named after the mayor when they moved from Dallas up to Kansas City way back. That's for old heads. Dallas Texans that became the Kansas City's chief. It's named after the mayor, but there's still a lot of uncertainty about it because the word chief, you can still use chief, but you can use it for police chief. You use it for fire chief. There's a lot of other ways that they could say it's kind of the same way that a lot of people have been renaming areas and neighborhoods in their certain cities for other people that have been changed instead of that have racial undertones. But I will be interested to see what the players think because you remember Patrick Mahomes and a couple of the other guys and Tyrann Mathieu, they were in that Black Lives Matter video that came out that basically changed Roger Goodell's idea. And they have a big say. And they have the owner, Clark Hunt, they have their voice now. And because they know they are the franchise right now, both offensively and defensively. So, and outside of the community, Patrick Mahomes is he's the one short of just walking on water right now in this city. He's so popular. So whatever he says can go. And if he thinks there needs to be a change to be made that's be more cultural sensitive, they'll go with it. But they have gone through the proper channels. The thing is, everybody knows about the history now and things are changing. So I think they're really trying to see what happens with the Braves. And if something happens there, they might make a move. But the tomahawk chop that happens before the game, with only 20,000 people in attendance, maybe, and that's a big maybe right now. It's not going to have the same effect, and it might just die off naturally.
Yeah, a good point. And you look at Clark Hunt, of course, the trophy named after the Hunt family and the AFC, AFC winner there. Clark Hunt has no choice but to listen to the Honey Badger and Patrick Mahomes. They saved his butt, winning the first Super Bowl in some 50 years. So if he's a smart man, he would listen to those players that has brought some fame and fortune to that family. Guys, any questions, Derwin, Ivan, or A. Willie for Harold Kuntz before we go talking Kansas City Chiefs?
Hey, Harold. Go ahead.
Go ahead, D. No. Go ahead, D.
Hey, Harold. It's Derwin Worrell here. As good as Kansas City is, Patrick Mahomes, the offense is spectacular. What is the one thing that could derail that team, you think, going forward from winning multiple championships?
Overconfidence. Now they have to deal with the fact that they're champions. They've never been in that way before, and you see Super Bowl champions sometimes drop off. It's overconfidence. And, Andy Reid's finally a winner after so many tries, of course, with Philadelphia and so many years building things up in Kansas City. So how did they deal with being the champion? Now they're the hunted. Right now on the schedule, their first game is Houston, and Houston beat them during the regular season last year. They dropped the ball in the postseason, and then they go to Baltimore in week 3, and Lamar Jackson and crew are going to be real hungry. So then they have New England and Cam Newton in week 4, and Belichick's going to have them very well coached up. So you're talking about the first 3 of the first 4 games are potential losses. So overconfidence. The good thing about it is with no preseason games for everybody to warm up, that gives them a huge leg up because, again, 20 and 22 starters. But how do they deal with that overconfidence? How do they deal with being a winner? That's the biggest drawback they might have this season.
Hey, Willie, real quickly, go ahead, bro.
Harold, what are you expecting from Damian Williams? I think he went for 17 for a buck 05 in the Super Bowl, and he also had some other moments in the playoffs. What are you expecting moving forward from him, and how can they diversify their offense in Kansas City?
Well, if he can stay healthy during the regular season, he's a big help. They drafted a running back in the first round for a reason. And I think a lot of that has to do with Damian Williams' health. He's postseason Damian Williams, but regular season Damian Williams, sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. He had a struggle during the regular season. He actually, and Larry, you might remember this when Kansas City went to Tennessee. He had a fumble that was returned for a touchdown, and he blamed himself for that game. He was really upset about that. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a name to look out for, a running back they just drafted in the first round at LSU, made Joe Burrow look good. He can make Patrick Mahomes look good in the screen game as well. So they're going to use him a lot during the regular season. If he stays healthy, Damian Williams might be doing some he might not be the guy you want to go to for fantasy. Let's put it that way.
All right, good stuff. Hey, Harold, man, I really appreciate it, man. Tell the wife out there, man, tell your mom and your dad. I know your dad's from Jersey. Tell him I said what up, and everybody out there in Kansas City, man. Really appreciate your time, dude. Stay safe, man, and we look forward to talking to you throughout the year, man. We're going to be talking a lot about these KC Chiefs. I do believe that, so we'll have you back on very soon. Thanks a lot, bro.
All right, I'm sure you'll be talking about them more than the Giants and the Jets. I didn't say that.
Wow! Wow!
Oh, see?
Okay, well, while you're talking about that, we'll be talking about the Mets and Yankees because we have baseball teams here.
Yeah. Oh, he did.
Hey, we do. Hey, just remember, this city did have an NBA team at one point. And if they would have drafted Magic Johnson, they maybe still would have had the Kansas City Kings, and they would have never moved to Sacramento. But you never know.
Good stuff. Harold, man, have a good Wednesday, brother. We'll talk to you down the road, man. All right.
All right, brother. Be good.
Yes, sir. That is Harold Kuntz, a sportscaster for Fox 4, the Fox affiliate in Kansas City. He's a sports anchor and reporter out there in KC. Good stuff there, guys. Let's go back real quickly. Finish the NBA section. Jimmy Butler, we talked about this a week or two ago. No nameplate. Didn't want to pick one of the 20-something social justice names that they had on there. Didn't want to go with Butler. He says, I am a man when I walk in the stadium, and when I walk out, I am a man, and more specifically, a black man. So he's drawing, some praise and some attention to that. Looks like some other players are coming along. There have been almost 30 other players that have requested not to have a nameplate as well. First, the NBA said, no, you either have to pick a name or, you got to go with your own name. Now it looks like they're sort of, taking stock of this and looking into this now. Nothing has been, official as far as what they are going to do. They are definitely taking another look at this. Hey, Willie, your thoughts on this? I find it interesting that the NBA is like, okay, we'll take stock of this. Is it because of the 30 other players that came out, or are they just now finally figuring out what his true message is, which is a message in itself?
I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest. Again, when you are in a situation where you are in the majority, it is very easy for you to become tone deaf, even when you think you're listening. So with that being said, I think they took a little more examination of it when not only it was you have these other players as well building this groundswell of support for what Jimmy wanted to do. It forced the league to look at it and say, look, especially during these times, if we want to be perceived as true partners of the players, of the vast majority of the players that make up this league, then we really need to listen to his message. So kudos to the NBA for doing it. I'll certainly be paying attention for in the next 8 days or so to see what they do.
Good stuff. OG, your thoughts? NBA 2K League, of course, you're close with the association. Jimmy Butler, man, starting a movement here. No name on the back of his jersey. Clearly, we all get the message that he's trying to send. I'm all supportive of it.
Me too. After I looked into it, because it's basically he's stating that if he wasn't who he is today, he'd just be another person, another black man. So, I like it. I mean, everybody during this time can express their feelings about what's going on in their own way and how they deem fit. And I don't see too much room for ridicule and heavy criticism. Man. My whole thing is about finding understanding and why do people do what they do? Why do they say what they say? Why do they act the way they act? And once I get that understanding, then you can't do nothing but respect it. I mean, so Jimmy Butler is always, to me, for what we've known him to be as a player and in the media, he seemed pretty stand up and he's firm behind what he believes and his stance on things. And I think that's one of the things that I really like about him, because it seems like no matter what team he goes to, he makes them better.
And instantly becomes a leader and a voice in that locker room.
Exactly, and I feel like this once again. He's doing this, in an impactful way, league wide, and not just his team. So, another hats off to Jimmy Butler.
D-Dubs, your thoughts on Jimmy Butler and the no nameplate?
I think honestly, if it wasn't for the other 30, I think the NBA might have looked at it like, yeah, one guy, trying to be an individual. But I think now that he has the backing of other players, the league really has to seriously look at it. And I would be surprised if the league doesn't let it go, because I don't see the problem with them. Why must you have a name on the back? Why can't you not have a name? I don't see the issue with not having a name. I mean, when the official calls a foul, he's calling out a number. He's not calling the guy by his name. So I don't see what would be the problem with having a blank plate on the back. At the end of the day, they're supposed to be in this bubble at one accord. This is a time of expression, like OG said. And this man wants to express himself in a certain way. And he's got 30 other players plus that want to express themselves in the same kind of way. I don't see what the problem is with it. And I'd be surprised if the NBA doesn't, in a couple of days, say it's okay.
I agree with you.
You know what I just thought about is like, it's sometimes in some of these situations where you just can't win. We've heard the famous saying, you play for the name on the front, not the back, and then now you're taking your name off the back, and now they got to add something else, and then he's choosing not to add something else. I mean, so it can easily be one of those situations where you can't win. But and Derwin made a valid point, and I can't remember what A. Willie said about it, but I do it could be one of those situations where if the other players wouldn't have stepped up and we're going to commit to doing the same thing, that it could be looked at as an individual stance and perceived differently. So it does. I think that does make a big difference in what he's choosing to do.
I agree with Derwin. I think they're going to act, and they're going to act rather quickly. They have no choice. They've got about 8 days before the first game, so they're going to have to figure this thing out here the next. I would say probably by this weekend, maybe early next week. But yeah, you can't wait till the last minute on this. All right, let's go back to the NFL. We're just talking to Harold Kuntz from Fox 4 in Kansas City. Back to the National Football League preseason. We know the 4 games usually traditionally is something that they do. 5 of you play in that Hall of Fame game. That was cut in half to 2. The players said, no, we don't want to. The NFL came back. We knew, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. All right, they'll settle at 1. You got to have at least 1 game, right? For some of these bottom of the roster type of guys to sort of make a name for themselves. And now it looks like the players union is going to win this fight, because the NFL is agreeing they're coming to the table with no preseason games this year. Elongate the training camp, work on those protocols and guidelines and things of that nature to get ready for the NFL season, which is fast approaching. September the 10th, Texans and Chiefs on that Thursday night. Your thoughts on this? No NFL preseason games in the NFL, guys. I guess they had no choice with this. We'll go with you first, Dorman.
I've warmed up to it. Before I thought that they needed 1 or 2 preseason games, but I think if they can get 1 in, I think it'd be beneficial.
Sure.
I've heard Coach Pete Carroll in Seattle. He's, he coached at USC for many years. He said, I don't need preseason games. We don't have any preseason games in college. So I know he's comfortable with it. Yep. Some of the other coaches that have come from college that spent a lot of time in college will probably feel comfortable with it as well. I'm just reading what the NFLPA, they don't want any preseason games. The NFL, they want at least 1, and with at least 1 preseason game.
They just want money.
Yeah, they always want money. These are the owners. But it allows them to get in, 10 games with pads, 10 games without pads, 3 weeks of strength and conditioning, which I think they need. So it allows them to do some other things. And that 1 preseason, if they get the 1 preseason game, that 1 preseason game would be the 3rd preseason game, which is normally the dress rehearsal. Mm-hmm. So we'll skip the first 2. You get the 1 preseason, then you get the week off because you won't have the 4th, and then you get to the real games. I would like I mean, I would personally like to see at least one preseason game to get the guys out there and get a simulation, real kind of game atmosphere with whistles, without crowds, so you know how it's going to be, and
Yeah,
then
let
get the
the refs and let the the broadcasters too, work it out.
yeah.
It's going to be different for them as well with no fans.
Right. And then they get the week off, fine tune their roster, and get ready to rock and roll week one. Also, another thing I would like to see, I probably won't get to see it, is I would love to have no fans, period. Everybody to be on the same accord, no fans, no home field advantage. Let's see what you got. Let's line them up. Let's play.
Save that thought.
Okay.
It's coming up next. Let's bring in OG. Also, you look at the NFL training camp. We talked about the rosters. I said they were going to be 75 to 80. They're going to be at 80, so you lose 10. Guys, that's 320 jobs right there, or opportunities that guys will not get this year. I get it. To socially distance, they're going to use some other auxiliary rooms and old media work rooms because you won't have a whole lot of media around and things of that nature, so you can kind of social distance there. This is tough. A lot of hearts, a lot of jobs, a lot of opportunities are going to be put on hold for a year because of this pandemic. We'll go with you, OG.
No, it's crazy to think, because I know some years ago, a lot of people would get frustrated with preseason games. Here and there, you've had some players go down in training camp and preseason games, and then it's like, well, why do we need these games? And of course, on the other side of it is that player fighting for a roster spot, fighting to live out their dream of playing the NFL. So it's definitely it's business as usual on one side, and then it's just the heartbreak of a player striving to make the league on the other. Yep. So me personally, I'm like, as a fan, I never was really fond of preseason games because you knew that the marquee players wasn't going to play as much. Now, kind of different from NFL and, like, let's say NBA, where the rookies, if the rookie is good, they're going to play. Mm-hmm. But often in football, the preseason is a chance to get to watch the rookies that get drafted and see what they can do, depending on where they went in the draft. So it's definitely tough. I mean, 2020 has been a year of ultimate sacrifice and adjustment. So NFL, a lot of NFL hopefuls are going to take a hit from this, but it's tough. But it's not surprising though. Not surprising at all.
Hey Willie, we look at the COVID situation and the protocols and guidelines that the players and the league have sort of come up with. You look at that 5% number they're going to test daily, and then after 2 weeks, if it stays below 5%, they'll go to every other day. If it's over 5%, they'll go to daily, back to daily again. So a lot of things are working in concert here. But I got to admit, hey Willie, the owners, man, dude, this is free money. Preseason. And you get to keep it and pocket it all.
Right.
All that stuff. That's a huge concession by the owners right here. Huge win for the players.
It is. And one of the things to think about, too, is when you're dealing with billionaires, if they concede in one way, it's something else they're going to expect you to concede on. Right? So the other thing looking at moving forward is not only are we looking at now with no preseason games, as everyone has been saying, these guys that are struggling to make the league may not have that opportunity to make the league. The concession is next year when they're saying the cap may drop as much as $40 million. Mm. So now what does that mean, especially for guys trying to make the league again?
Right.
So with that being said, I always, when I see them, and again, they're billionaires for a reason. And so when they can see something, I'm always looking to see what's on the other side of that. So with that being said, I'm not only concerned about players not having an opportunity this year, but also beyond if the cap is going to go down 40 million.
That's a good point, man. And you look at teams that are spending money. You didn't see a whole lot of contracts over the last 4 or 5 months. McCaffrey, you saw Chris Jones, and you saw Patrick Mahomes, but not a lot there. But you're right. The chickens will come home to roost. What are you going to do if you're the Chiefs? You got Kelsey's coming up. You got Tyreek's going to need some money. And then you can't forget about Sammy Watkins before he goes off and tries to get paid as well. So very interesting times there. We'll keep it in the NFL, guys. MetLife Stadium here in the great state of New Jersey, the Garden State, home of the Jets and the Giants. Governor Murphy making the announcement yesterday they will not have any fans this year. Your thoughts on no fans? I mean, it just seems weird in a place like New York. 2 teams, they sell out the stadium. 2 of the top 5 or 6, grossing teams as far as crowds and attendance. It's gonna be weird to see no fans, no Jets, no Go Big Blue or none of that stuff at MetLife. Hell, sometimes I can't say. I was going to say I can hear the stadium down the street, but I really can't. I was making that part up. We'll go with you, hey, Willie.
I think given the times that we're in, I think it's the right play because, again, the leagues are trying to, in concert with governments, in concert with medical officials, we're trying to do everything they can to realize some of that revenue that's lost. And so, again, if you leave it up to the public, I can say this again, this is one of the things that I'm not so proud of in my home state. California was out in front, Los Angeles in particular.
Number 1 now,
right?
New York.
Right, was out in front at first when it came to shut down and quarantine and things of that nature and got it under control. And the second they stopped mashing, look at what we have now. So with that being said, I just don't think we can leave it up to the public. Clearly we can't. So with that being said, I think the government mandates to make sure that people are staying safe as much as possible, I think is good. And the league will realize even with players, with fans not in the stadium, with these advertising opportunities and most of those eyeballs on TV sets, they're going to realize some of that revenue. They're going to gain some of it back. So, and as D said, and I want him to elaborate on that even more, I just think it should be sort of uniform across the board and no fans. Because this isn't baseball where the dimensions of the stadiums are different, right? This is a sport that's all uniform. So with that being said, keep it uniform.
Down to the uniform. Hell, they have infractions for the daggone uniform. D-Dubs, you were about to talk about this last segment. Wax poetic, my friend.
well, I'm not shocked at all. I never thought there was a chance that they were going to let fans at MetLife Stadium. And that was because, those who don't know the tri-state area that live up here in New York, the New York City area, is New York City, is Connecticut, is New Jersey.
And a little bit of Pennsylvania, but yep. Mm-hmm.
Those 3 states pretty much rock together. New York pretty much normally leads the way. Once the governor, Andrew Cuomo, said he didn't see any large venue events in New York City until 2021, these governors talk to each other. They work together. The way New York was able to get this COVID down, he worked with Governor Phil Murphy in New Jersey. Because Cuomo said, you can't have laws for one state, and then everybody in New York goes over to Jersey. Jersey people go over to New York. New York goes over to Connecticut. They're going across state lines all the time. We have to be on the same page, the same accord. So that doesn't shock me that he's being cautious. He said there was a mandate, no more than 500 people in a large area. So I'm not shocked about that. I would be also surprised if Philadelphia doesn't take the same stance too. I think they tried to, but the Philadelphia fan base is a little bit, against that. And getting back to the whole fan bit, let's clear out the stadiums. No fans, because Seattle has a home field advantage. Kansas City has a home field advantage with loud crowd noise. These dome stadiums. The Baltimore Ravens are like 13-3 in their last 2 years in their building. Mm-hmm. Clear the fans out. It's a 100-yard football field. Everybody have this, no fans, no crowd noise. Let's just play. Because why have MetLife Stadium one week you play with no fans, and then you go down to Baltimore and they got 14,000 fans?
But it'll be like a high school game. Let me get OG in here.
It's still noise.
I get, but it's like, okay, it'd be different if you said, hey, man, we got to play at Tuscaloosa or Neyland Stadium or the Horseshoe at Ohio State, 105,000, and then you got to go play with no fans. That's a different story, but 10 to 15.
It's still fans, man.
Yeah, it's still fans.
It's still people screaming. It's still fans.
Told me we only have to play in front of 14,000 fans. I'm like, okay, we can audible. There's nothing different.
Do we know that 14,000? We know it's not going to be as loud as 75.
14,000 fans screaming at the top of their lungs for 3 hours. First of all, they would probably pass out and drop dead. It still wouldn't matter. There's just not enough of them.
Do we know this for sure?
Yeah.
Do we know this for sure?
No, can you imagine the excuses? Right. No, can you imagine the excuses? Man, well, we lost. We didn't have our fans, and you guys did.
That's
like
weak.
But I'm telling you, it's coming. Sure. I'm telling you, it's coming.
My whole thing in the discussion about it was that okay, 1 minute we went talking about the safety aspect of it, and now we're talking about home field advantage. I mean, y'all know I've been sold on the fact that if the opportunity presented itself where fans would be allowed, fans would show up. I'm having a hard time. Like, I mean, I remember, being at Brooklyn Nets games and hearing how passionate, and like I'm sure like Philly and New York, like those are some of the strongest fan bases.
Boston, absolutely.
And living color, it's like it's an experience. And I can't imagine like Giants fans and Jeff like not being able to watch their team play. Like I mean, it's
better get used to it because it ain't happening, and it won't happen to RU at Rutgers either. Hell, people even said for fall sports, altogether college sports. Now we'll see about that with our college basketball and the NBA and things.
Be safe than sorry. You don't want to be like some of these other states, man.
Right.
Well, I'm not in disagreement to that. I'm just saying it's a hard thing to fathom.
Yeah.
Knowing the pride of New Yorkers in their sports. Like, I mean,
sure.
It's a tough one. Especially like if other NFL teams are gonna allow fans and New York doesn't, man, it's gonna be some ruckus, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's put this in perspective, though.
We're heading that way. You think the NFL is gonna have a uniform policy? Because I mean, if they were, they would have had it by now.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, that's the point. And I agree. Look, all things considered, yes, you want things equal, but
they normally do.
If I got to go to M&T Bank Stadium and there's only 14,000, I'm like, all right, that's sort of a half of a win for us. We just got a half a point on the damn point spread. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Goodell and some of these owners, they're all going to lose a little bit of money.
Oh, they're going to lose a lot of damn money.
They're going to lose a lot of money.
They made $15 billion last year.
Right. They're going to lose.
You might as well take a third off that right now, maybe even 40%.
Well, it's kind of like they already know they're going to lose money, but they're kind of at the mercy of the governors. And I've been talking about this for the last couple of months. It's the governors that are going to set the precedent. So what you're going to be allowed to do. So I guess, Goodell and some of these owners feel like, well, if this guy can make a little bit of money, maybe in Texas or some of these other places, why stop him from making his little bit of money? Why have all the other owners suffer? But let's not forget in New York, because, we're doing well right now. But there was a time where they were backing up the trucks, these freezer trucks with bodies in them. Sure. And the governor and the mayor, they don't forget stuff like that. So what we don't want to do is go backwards. There were a lot of people that died here in New York City. So you don't want to go backwards like some of these other states because they opened too early. They did too much too soon. So guys up here try to be safe on the side of caution, even with our schools. I just got an email from my son's school that they're not letting them in the building until at least mid-September.
Yep.
So want to be safe than sorry. I know guys want to make money. They want to open up, I don't know, the field down in Tampa or maybe down in Jerry World or whatever, and they want to make money, but people's health, health comes first.
Vegas. We're going to talk about Vegas tomorrow. They got an interesting dynamic. Probably not going to have fans. We're going to see what their owner is going to do because he said he might not even go because they can't have fans. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. That's definitely on the docket for Allegiant Stadium out there in Vegas. All right, guys, let's keep it moving here quickly. Michael Bennett set to retire. Almost 70 career sacks, 3 Pro Bowls. Borderline Hall of Famer. What do you think? You think he's in? And what do you think he's going to do now that he's got time? I know he's got his brother Martellus. He's a social activist. He's all about activism. I can definitely see him out there leading the calls and being on TV for this. We'll go with you, A. Willie.
One of the things that I like about Michael Bennett, what he's done, and he isn't Johnny come lately with this, and I respect this. He has always been about activism. He has always been about change, and he's also done it from inside the NFL from a personnel standpoint with decision makers, owners, etc. He has always made noise about that. He has always, as to use a saying from the great John Lewis, he always made good trouble in that regard. And so with that being said, I expect more of that from him. He already set these protocols into place before he retired, doing things with his wife, having a podcast, writing books, etc. So with that being said, I've always respected him from that regard, not scared to speak his mind. And also, too, when he spoke his mind, he also produced. And even last year, he had 6.5 sacks, so he can still play. But I respect what he's doing. He said he had a lot of time to reflect and think about being home with his family and what his presence meant off the field. So his brother also has an agency.
Yep.
So a lot of respect for them. Those guys are really doing it the right way. Want to continue to support however I can. And again, great career.
Yeah.
Borderline Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. OG, what do you think? You think he's a Hall of Famer? And how involved do you think he'll be with the activism?
I'd say borderline Hall of Famer. I mean, it seems like that's always, as we go forward, it's always going to seem like they're being lenient with the Hall of Fame inductees of all sports, because we've seen some surprises here and there. But I think he's had a great career, and definitely I think he's probably going to have a greater career and continue to make an impact off the field. He definitely is not scared to get into some good trouble with a lot of some of the titles of the books that he's authored and contributed to, and then just it's funny because you think about them some massive brothers, man, and they they don't have a reason to be fearful of too many things from a physical technicality, but when they take on a sense of pride to speak for the speechless and have hope for some of the hopeless, I mean, you can't help but to commend that. And it ranges from anywhere from children, all the way to adults. So it's definitely commendable, and we'll see. I mean, like I say, he's had a good career. Got Super Bowl. I mean, got some accolades to go along with 11-year career. So it's going to be interesting. But I'm definitely I'll be tuned in to what he continues to do off the field.
Yeah, Derwin, OG was talking about two massive brothers. They're both like 6'4", 6'5", and they speak their mind.
Exactly.
So that's always refreshing as well. And he talked about Martellus with the art agency. Does a lot of digital stuff, children's books. He started really taking it to another level once he got to New England. 3 or 4 years ago, his brother Martellus, when he won the Super Bowl in 2016. So yeah, there's a lot there on the plate for Michael Bennett.
Yeah, he was a heck of a player for Seattle. Seattle
Your
had
boy.
him. Yeah, Seattle actually had him early on, I think in training camp. Let him go. He went to Tampa, and he was there for Tampa for about 4 years.
Yep.
And it wasn't until his last year that he really did good. And Seattle was lucky to get that man back because they saw what they had let go. And he had a tremendous career. Won the Super Bowl, very outspoken. He is a leader. Him and his brother, they speak their mind. I've seen Michael Bennett on CNN a couple of times with Don Lemon. So I would expect him to continue on, whatever route he wants to go, being an activist or helping people. That's the kind of guy that he is. I don't know, he has like different charities in the Seattle area. So I would expect more of the same going forward for him. And once again, really good career. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. I have to look a little close at the numbers.
Yeah.
You got the one. You got the one Super Bowl.
You got to think about it. Probably not. You have to think about it. No.
If he got the two
under the Derwin scope,
I mean that's my guy, But I don't know if he'll get in.
Yeah.
But he still had a heck of a career.
Well, he almost 70 sacks. What is it? 69 and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, if you'd have gotten 90 or 100, now that's a different story. But 70, really good player.
Yeah,
3 Pro Bowls. One of the better players, but yeah, probably not Hall of Famer.
Probably not a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Fame attitude and a Hall of Fame mouthpiece, though. So I will give him that.
Yeah.
Michael Bennett. All right, let's keep it in the NFL. Julie Donaldson, we had her on last week. She was still a member of the NBC Sports family, NBC Sports
Congratulations.
Washington. But yeah, the other day got the big call that she's going to be leading the broadcast team with the Washington Redskins, the first female to do that, lady to do that of the 32 NFL teams. She will not be the play-by-play guy. She will hire the play-by-play guy. So she's got some muscle.
Wow.
Flex with that. Dan Snyder gave her a nice deal. I've known Julie. We worked together. She worked here at SNY, but I wasn't here. But we did work together in Boston for a year. I knew her in Miami when I was there in 04, 05, 06 era down there. So very bright young lady. She's got a lot on her plate. She's done some interviews today. I've seen her tweet about it. She knows what she's getting into. But I'm going to say this without putting so much out there and getting into too much of her business. Here's a young lady that's been through hell, literally. She's been there and back. If there's anyone that Dan Snyder could have put in there as a woman to help him clean up the mess, she's got the battle scars to prove it, if you know what I mean. If you can read between the lines. Great hire by Dan Snyder. It's going to take some heat off his ass. I think he did a good job in hiring her. She's well-deserving, that's for sure. Hey, Willie, your thoughts?
I think it's really good that he made this hire. One of the things that really resonated with me is when she was approached about the opportunity, she asked so many times in explicit terms, will I have the opportunity to change the infrastructure here? And so that really is, and what that speaks to is leverage. And we all know this. There are very few times, generally speaking, that we all have leverage. And when you have that leverage, you have to understand when you have it and you have to exercise it. So she wasn't afraid to, she knew that she had it, wasn't afraid to exercise it. And kudos to her for doing that. And definitely something, as you said, Larry, that it's a step in the right direction, makes you want to root for them a little bit more. There's still a lot of things they need to change.
Clean house.
At least it created some positive energy for all the negative that surrounds the franchise right now.
And OG, hopefully for the women and the ladies that are still there with the Washington football team, they've got an ally, someone that they can go to as well in the organization. OG.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Obviously, I don't know her well, but I definitely enjoyed when she was on the show, and I can tell like she has some grit and some firmness about her and her stance on some things that she felt, and her being able to go in there and I think do some damage control is phenomenal. And the one thing, anytime you hear first female or first black, it's great, but I really can't wait till it gets to the point where it's normality just for the best person for the job is in there making it happen, whether it's black or female. Because definitely they're in a situation where I think she's going to do great, and whether she's the first or not, I think it's in need. I hope, like you were saying, that a lot of female employees, considering everything that's been going on, knows that they have somebody that stand up that's going to have their best interests in mind at all times, and being able to carry out that is important. So I'm happy to hear about it, and just I was thinking like, man, she was just on esportsXTRA not too long ago, and now we got to have her back for bigger and better things when she gets time. But kudos to Julie, and I wish her well in that role.
Yeah, good stuff. Your thoughts, D-Dubs? See Julie take this large step. Definitely something that she can handle. That's for sure.
It's just interesting how this whole thing transpired. If you're, Daniel Snyder, you got this big cloud of your organization, 15 women accusing your organization of doing something.
That's just in the organization. You add on the reporters, that thing's probably 20.
Right. And, you go out there and I don't know what his relationship was with Julie prior. I don't know how well he knew her, but, to pick her and her and you say that she's capable of handling, whatever. Because this is not going to be easy going forward. If
you know her past, and I'll just nudge you guys to go check it out. Some things that's happened to her, specifically when I was there in Boston, she's been through hell, man, and
Right.
she's equipped for this. She, as they like to say in the 2K community, she's built for this.
She's built for it. And what's great about the hire is also she's going to be able to piece things together, bring some other women into power, which would be, I think, a good thing for the league and good for the Washington football organization. And she's got the opportunity, as you said, she acts, she wants the keys to the car. She wants to be able to redesign things, do things to her liking, and rebuild it, so to speak. That's what that organization needs. They need a facelift. They need to be rebuilt. So, great opportunity for her. I look forward to see what the Washington football team becomes going forward and how they can clean this whole mess up. And hopefully she'll do a great job.
Just saw it on our LinkedIn. Senior VP,
Wow.
Media and Content at Washington Football. No mention of Redskins, none of that nonsense. She gets it. You know what I'm saying? I think she'll do well. Look, it's a large undertaking, but someone's got to do the job.
Mhm.
I think as long as they support her, she'll come out of this smelling like roses.
Hey, I do want
Real
to
quickly.
add this though. I anything that has an extreme amount of success somewhere in the infrastructure is some strong women holding it down and making sure things are staying the way that it should be. So I definitely won't be surprised with her immediate impact on everything that's going on over there.
Absolutely. I think we all agree that she is, as long as they set her up for success, she will be successful. All right, guys, let's go. The other football, pro football, north of the border, Canadian football. We talked about the Edmonton Eskimos. That is no longer. We talked about it that we expected a decision pretty soon. We've seen since basically February. Now you can go, all the way back previous years as well. That this was going to be a situation that they had to sort of reckon with the indigenous and native people in Canada, with the Inuits, and it's come down. The statement came out yesterday from the Edmonton football team. Our board of directors has made the decision to discontinue use of the word Eskimo, in quote, in the team name. Will be known as the Edmonton football team or EE football team while we go through the process of determining a new name befitting our storied team. We're talking about a storied program, a franchise has won what, Darren? 14 Grey
14.
Cups, I believe.
Second most.
Second most, right behind the Toronto Argonauts. Look at us,
Yes.
some CFL connoisseurs over here. It's called doing your homework. That's all that is. We don't know anything about the CFL. Dorian, your thoughts on the Edmonton football team dropping the name Eskimos?
Can't be surprised. You knew it was coming. Everybody, this is a era that's making everyone look in the mirror. What are you doing right now? What does your past say about your organization?
Mhm.
And this was something that they've been talked about before, but now they see the big bad NFL, one of their historical franchises, about to change their name. CFL sitting up there going, you know what? We got to be on the right side of history. We got to do something to change this. We don't know what the new name is going to be, but we need to do away with the word Eskimos. So bravo to them for making the change, and interested to see what they come up with, because we talked about historical franchise for the CFL, 14 Grey Cups, which is the equivalent to their Super Bowl, and I'm pretty sure they'll work with the community and the people there to figure out what the new name is going to be. Great move.
OG, we talked about it. We thought it would be coming down the pike, right? We thought it was close. I said within the next show, and it did, but I'm a little surprised that it actually even went that fast. I was thinking, man, they maybe give it another week or two and figure out, all right, how do we want to sort of roll this out? No, just cut it, put out the statement, and then figure out what other team name you want to come up with. But right now, let's go ahead and get straight to the action.
Hey, well, when sponsorships threaten to bow out, that definitely can speed up the process of it happening. I think it was something that was expected. I don't, and really at the moment that we're living in right now, it's not even a hard, it's not even a hard fix, beyond money. And I spoke about that the last time when we were talking about, whether it's the Redskins or the Eskimo. I mean, every time you really got down to the meat of it, it's about money. But when you put people's feelings into it and how those nicknames can be offensive and make people feel a certain kind of way. It's not even that something that's difficult to do away with. And like I said, in their situation, sponsors, threatening to bow out and different things like that. It definitely speed up the process and really, I mean, Washington football, Edmonton football. I mean, play the game. I mean, and mascots are cool and everything, but I mean, most of the time we like the team because whether they're competitive or winning or anything like that. Rarely is because of the name. Of course, all these changes that's going on, it's going to take some time to get used to, but I think it's definitely for a greater cause. So it's something else that I'm happy to see.
Hey, Willie, were you surprised by the speed of this?
No, I wasn't surprised by it. And some of the things for me that are really interesting about this situation in Edmonton is one of the things I like to say when I'm on Twitter is hashtag RTO, real talk only. So when you look at Edmonton or when you look at in Kansas City, when they said they actually put out a statement earlier where they said they were studying whether the chop was offensive or not for 6 years, real talk only. It's offensive. It doesn't take you 6 years to figure that out. And if it does take you 6 years to figure that out, that speaks to how tone deaf you are again.
You probably
right?
need to have a new team.
Exactly. So when you look, one of the things that's interesting to me about Edmonton is you had some of the players after this was announced, some of the former players actually retweeting and tweeting out, once an Eskimo, always an Eskimo.
Oh, man.
And there was one particular player that tweeted this out that played in the CFL for 13 years, and only 4 of those were in Edmonton. So you're holding on to something that you only played 4 years there. So again, it speaks to how tone deaf people are.
That is also culture as well. That's a culture.
That's exactly right. So, and then the other thing that's interesting to me from a revenue standpoint about this change in Edmonton as well as in Washington as well, once these changes are announced, you see a spike in people buying apparel that represents the old name. And then when they come out with the new name, you're going to see another spike.
Sure.
Right? So again, it's very similar to how when Adam Silver said that Donald Sterling was banned for life from the NBA, but he sold the team for $2 billion. Who really wins? Right. So with that being said, I just look at that and some of these responses and whatnot. Yes, they're doing the right thing, but to play poor, like this is going to cost us a bunch of money and all those things, I think is being disingenuous. And it also speaks to you being tone deaf again.
I agree. And you look at that statement, it said they'll be known now as the Edmonton football team or EE football team. And I'm thinking like, what's the E? What's the E?
They want to maintain that E. They want to keep it. They want to keep that and the colors.
Isn't the double E on the helmet? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. So they want to keep that and the colors.
The EE football team is like, there you go. Let it go, man.
Well, if they're saying that with the Edmonton football team, how they gonna go out on the field with the EE on their helmet? They gotta change the helmet. What's the E for? I'm like, what's the E for?
I'm just gonna call them the Edmonton Ducks or the Edmonton Packers.
Right, exactly. That's the color.
Packers,
Exactly.
All right, let's go back down here south to the United States. Major League Baseball. We saw Gabe Kapler, the manager of the San Francisco, I was going to say 49ers, San Francisco Giants, kneeled twice. Kneeled Tuesday and again yesterday, or today. Was it today or was it last night? I think it was, I definitely know the last 2 games for certain. He kneeled again recently. I don't know if it was earlier today or was it last night. So the last 2 games for the Giants, he kneeled. He did express the same sentiment, which is the country's messed up right now, and he wants to fight and stand up for something, and he's encouraging and imploring his team to do it. We also saw Joey Votto, the Reds star player, kneel as well. He and 3 others, Cincinnati Reds, as well, and the Reds tweeted about it. I thought, which is a big deal because we all know the history they have with Cincinnati, with Marge Schott being the owner, and what was the dog name? Shotzi, the St. Bernard or whatever the hell it was. So yeah, your thoughts, man? Kneeling, creeping in the Major League Baseball. I do know the Giants players were definitely on board with this, and me covering Gabe Kapler with the Red Sox back in the mid 2000s to late 2000s. I'm a little surprised by this. I don't know him very well. I've talked to him a couple times. Very intense guy. I didn't see this coming. So bravo to Gabe Kapler for being a leader of men out there by the Bay. We'll go with you, OG.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised when I heard about it and when I read about it, and you know, it just gets me to in a mood where, like, if people are doing things peacefully in a non-disrespectful manner, um, if it, if it bothers you that much, then you might be the problem. Like, I mean, like, and that's what I'm starting to look at for anybody who feels a certain type of way when people are, you know, uh, kneeling and peacefully protesting for the cause. I mean, and I definitely don't have a problem with it. I mean, and I think even when we started talking about this some a while ago, I said it was going to kind of be, you know, normal to a degree, because until, you know, a lot of these stances are great. The Black Lives Matter on the court, the streets, and all of this is great. But if we are not removing systemic racism and things of that nature, it's more work to be done, and it's more good trouble to continue to get into. I mean, everything is great, but we have to be committed to physical change, and so we won't have to, you know, the protests won't have to continue and things of that nature, and we don't have to keep witnessing a lot of things that we're witnessing. So, you know, all hands on deck, and let's continue peacefully protesting and standing up for what's right.
Yeah. Hey, Willie, a guy that was in the Red Sox organization, Gabe Kapler, also a manager with the Phillies as well. Pretty intense guy. Hey, sticking his neck out there, man, and showing the way for his players out there with the Giants organization.
No, it's great to see. Again, I say this a lot as a Black man that attended and graduated from one of the two Jewish universities in the United States. This is great to see because, again, Black and Jewish people we have this illustrious relationship, and it's also been contentious at times. And so, again, and you alluded to that earlier, Larry, with Mark Schott and what she said about her Black players, right? And now we have Gabe Kapler doing this, representing a cause that really represents us. And what it's really getting to is, instead of us being in a society where we have tolerance and understanding and acceptance are two different things. And so now when you have Gabe Kapler doing the things that he's doing and employing other people around the league and on his team to do the same thing in a sport where most of the players don't look like us, now you're moving toward understanding. And
less than 10%. What is it, like 7%, 8%? Maybe?
Yes. So with that being said, now you're moving beyond tolerance, and you're moving to understanding, and you're moving to a true fellowship. And those are the things that we need if we want to see that change, that OG reference, that change that Derwin references, that change that you reference as well, Larry. So kudos to Gabe Kapler. Was again, when I was with the Red Sox, he was there as well. So it's good to see.
D-Dubs, you look at the images there, the imagery. Our white colleagues, we've all implored them throughout this fight over the last few months since the death of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Richard, all of those folks. We wanted our white colleagues to get out there and join in this fight. Where are you getting that? Because Major League Baseball, you look at the people that were kneeling.
Yeah.
Majority of them were, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
Yeah, and I remember saying before that kneeling is going to become a normal thing. And I was really thinking about the NFL, talking about you're going to see maybe a total team kneel in the NFL. I was surprised to see it happen in baseball first, because I thought maybe the NBA would get that opportunity. But just looking at the pictures, it was quite a few San Francisco Giants that kneeled. and that's just a good sight to see.
Yeah, 4
because,
Cincinnati Reds, but I think maybe 6, 7, or 8 with the Giants. Yeah.
And
Almost
really, this movement that we're on is even a stronger movement when we have the other counterparts with us, to push this thing forward, whether it be Jewish or even white people on board. And this movement has been one of either you on this side or you on that side. No one's being allowed to straddle the fence right now. But to take the notion that Kapler did, to just pretty much do it on his own and support, it says a lot about him. It says, a lot about what he thinks about the cause and going forward. So you might start to see a little bit more teams start to play in the next couple of weeks. More teams start kneeling. NBA is going to start in a week. How many NBA players? There's more black players in NBA. How many NBA players might start taking a knee? But to see it in baseball, that's definitely different.
Yeah, I'll really be impressed when I see it like in hockey. That's when I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like to see a PK Subban or somebody like that.
Yeah, Subban, but there's not that, and I love hockey, and there's not that many blacks in hockey.
No, there's not.
So if you get that in hockey, that speaks volumes.
Sure. And I want this country to get over this. It's like, guys, get over this. People will do this. They will express themselves, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's what that's what this country was founded on. It was founded on protest. Right. We got to get into some good trouble and bring light to certain situations. I don't mind whatever that light is. It could be, you pick the issue. We're all in this together. There's right and wrong. I just want to be on the side of right. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. Real quickly, guys, let's get out of here. Let's talk Venn, this new network, esports, slick little trailer, going to debut, I believe, in a couple of weeks. What is it, OG, like August the 5th? They've got these shows, pop culture and gaming shows. Hint, Vin, you probably should be hollering at us. I ain't got no sports. We'll see about that. The guy that actually runs it used to work at NBC Sports. So I don't know, maybe we'll try to, and the guys that produce it, we've worked with in the past at the Mixer store as well. So we'll see what they're going to do out there. I know we got our good friend, Erin Ashley Simon. She's one of the hosts. It's nice. I want to see it do well. I was wondering if there was going to be a sort of linear component to this. Looks like it's going to be all digital, but Slick Studios, they're going to have one in LA, one here in New York. The one in New York is going to open up in 2021. But multi-million-dollar studios, nice product right now. The way it looks, OG, we'll start with you. You're the resident esports guy. Hey, what's up, Mr. Esports guy?
I actually seen an announcement, obviously, from one of my good friends, Erin Ashley Simon, and I know anything that she's attached to, it's some great stuff. So I was happy to see that. Then I also looked at the lineup. Cash Nasty is on there. Along with a lot of other content.
There's some funny stuff out there. You know me. I got to keep it real. There's some stuff out there. I'm like, all right, what the hell is this? But I like the idea. Like, I don't know, the sushi guy or whatever. I don't know.
It's been it's been a lot of esports shows that go. Since COVID a lot of them has been down. I watched Cheddar Esports when Aaron was on there.
Good point.
And they went off there. So it's definitely a need. And we're definitely a need. So
I didn't see no sports on there. None.
So
I'm gonna keep calling them out. Like, where y'all at?
But yeah, obviously we're in the mode going forward. Content creation is key, and being able to provide entertainment and being able to provide it multitudes of ways, is going to be important. And I think that's what it's lining up to do. I think the roster obviously is going to expand to some degree. So I wish it well, and who knows? It can be some good synergy between us and Ben.
I agree. Hey, we always want to root for everything in this ecosystem and in this community. So I'm definitely rooting for them. They just need some damn sports. Hey, Willie, your thoughts? Vin about to make this debut August the 5th. I tell you what, the graphics are slick. I like it. I just want to see more than just arcades and there's a brother, I think he's doing like some sort of a workout show, I believe. I think the brother's doing a workout show.
Cash.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. So it's some different stuff out there, but I need more than just video gaming and arcade stuff. Like, come on now.
Yeah, let's make it happen. We need to be on there.
Pretty much.
Let's make it happen. But no, it's good. And it's certainly, as OG was saying, this is certainly a space that continues to expand with all of the technology and all of the advancement that we've seen in this space. And it moves at 100 miles a minute. There's so much room for it to continue to develop. So to see things as they continue to develop and move forward is not surprising. It's good to see. And certainly for sure, I would like for us to be a part of that.
Hey, Willie. Yeah, hey, Willie just said 100 miles a minute. They've got like thousands or millions of pixels that they're using on the set and stuff. Derwin, I mean, we're TV guys. We've got a TV background. We're still TV guys, traditional media, traditional sports. I got to admit, the studio looks slick. I like it. I'm like, okay, I'd get behind that.
Yeah, I want to see myself in 4K or 8K or something. Oh man,
especially the way he was slicking up the ball head.
I mean, this COVID has caused us to look at so many different things and how we do things and progress and test technology. What can we do? What can't we do? So, with the COVID, it's been devastating to the world, but in some cases, it's made us stronger in other avenues. Is this show. We used to go out to different casinos and do the different various Madden tournaments and the 2K stuff. But
not giving up on that. I've been speaking to some people. It's probably going to take another month or two, but we're still working on it.
Right, but imagine, Larry, if you were still working on a regular doing sports, will we have a Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday show?
No.
With your schedule?
No.
Probably not. So this has given us all an opportunity to do something different and, push the envelope and progress. And now we know going forward, when things start to get back to normal, what we can do, what we can't do, and, make some other projects go forward.
I agree. Well said, man. And I'm so thankful that I got you three brothers and the broskina, the queen of esports extra. Renee Montgomery. It'd be nice to have her back. I know she couldn't join us tonight. She was doing, I want to say MSNBC. She was on Joy Reid tonight. I didn't know that until she's always busy. So, but that's good. I mean, we're seeing her. And you know what? I think we've been a small part, helping that success as well, because she's definitely killing it and she's representing us. So glad to see her doing well. Glad to see you guys doing well as well. So we'll keep pushing the envelope and continue to grow and pushing out this content. Real quickly before we get out here, Compete Forever this weekend, back on the Black News Channel. Coach K, myself, Compete Forever, the entire team. Episode 8 this weekend. Damn, Coach K, can you believe that? 7 episodes, 4 showings.
Time flies.
20 showings, yeah. We still got, I think, the contract's a year. We got to do 44 more of these. We got 44
We can do it.
Do we have that much content to fill?
Sure.
We got to make stuff up.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
It's not easy, man. It's not easy. But this weekend on the Black News Channel, you can get it on Dish Network, Comcast Xfinity, also Spectrum Charter Cable as well. It's the Compete Forever Madden NFL Grand Finals, the Summer Series at Foxwoods, the Grand Finals at Foxwoods Resort Casino in Manchuntucket, Connecticut. The wonder of it all, the largest resort casino in North America. Great event it was. I think $2,000 on the line for the prize pool. Myself and Eric Coleman, the great Eric Coleman, former Jet safety, Lions safety, and also Atlanta Falcons safety. He's on the call with me. Ashley Lyotis working the sidelines on that one. A great event, went down to the wire. 6 top Madden players, some really good games. All of them were pretty close, and a really good ending as well there. This Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern, both days, only on the Black News Channel. You can get it nationally on Dish Network, Comcast Xfinity, and Spectrum Charter Cable. So should be interesting to see this one this weekend, episode 8. Any final thoughts from you fine young gents before we get out of here?
Well, for me, 2 things. One, we have
2K League.
Yeah, we have the turn going on right now as we speak.
Let's get it.
Bucks GG defeated Celtics crossover game, and
oh man,
yeah,
I thought Fab them was gonna carry that momentum a little bit.
Memphis went down to the Lakers 2-0, which was the biggest shock of the tournament right now. Blazer 5 is looking pretty good. They swept Pacers gaming. And we're actually in the game 3 right now. Knicks gaming and Pistons GT. Those are the 6 o'clock games. It's 3 9 o'clock games. Heat Check Gaming versus 76ers GC. Hawks Talent GC versus Cavs Legion GC, and Magic Gaming versus Gen G. So some very interesting games. Next GC we open up tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm yawning back there. Like,
Next GC we open up tomorrow at 8 p.m. We play T-Wolves Gaming. We actually played them in the regular season, and we actually won the series. So we'll be looking forward to that matchup at 8, and could be potentially not overlooking, but could have another shot at the Raptors. They win their game and we move on, we'll meet again. So definitely looking forward to that. But let's take it one game at a time,
right?
And it's a lot of money on the line. So
money.
Let's get it.
So definitely, last but not least, Mama Snook and Diddy and Renee.
And Diddy.
Just hope everybody's doing well. We've been in communication, all the time in the chat. So just continue to shout out the family, and that's pretty much it. Great show, guys, and I'll be in other action tomorrow. So I'll still be tuned in.
Yeah, we'll see you next Wednesday. We will not have a show this Sunday. We're going to be in Atlanta. Kevin and myself been in Atlanta. Just did an interview with Kenyon Drake, a very gracious guy, former Alabama player. I know a bunch of Alabama guys. My buddy down there, Santonio Beard in Nashville. Me and Kevin kicked it with last year during the NFL draft. And my cousin, my relative, Sean Alexander. So we had some good stuff. Going to have him on tomorrow. It'll be good to catch up with Kenyon Drake. I still told him, dude, you broke my heart with that, that hook and ladder against the Patriots a couple of years ago. That was pretty cool, man, that he was part of that. But he's a good brother. He's a gamer and everything like that. So he's going to join us right before he does an interview with ESPN. So we are blessed here on esportsXTRA to get him right before he joins, does an interview with ESPN. So we'll probably get with him tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Duran Worrell, any final thoughts? You worldwide guy, you?
Yeah, just looking forward to see if we're going to have any preseason games in the NFL. Want the season to start. I'm praying that they can start and finish, but that's yet to be seen. So just looking forward to some football, hopefully down the pike.
Tell Mama Dubs I said what up. Tell the wife, the kid I said what up.
I will.
And where are you? You're in Royal
Palm Beach.
Because you're Regal. That's right. Regal. You got to start wearing purple on the show, man. You're Regal. Royalty, man. Right? All right, guys. He's like, oh, you're funny. You're funny. All right, throw up the A for Renee. Guys, good show today.
Hey, miss you, Renee.
Put it up for Renee. Absolutely. For Kevin Mamuzet pushing all the right buttons back there, guys. Duran Worrell down in the Palm Beaches. I don't know which one. There's like 50 of them down there. OG back in Brooklyn. We're Brooklyn, right here. That's where we at. NBA 2K League tomorrow, man. We're rooting for Nets.
Hey, on Twitch and YouTube. On Twitch and YouTube, NBA 2K League. Check out the turn going on right now.
Yes, sir. We'll be watching it.
There, OG.
And A Willie. Tell Siobhan we said what up, man.
I will. The boss.
Have to call the boss, but she sent you, dog.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys. Thanks for watching esportsXTRA, the only live call-in sports show talking traditional sports and esports on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow from the tri-state area. I'm Larry Ridley. We'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern for more esportsXTRA right here, 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Bye-bye.